Let's get to the bottom of this one. Unspoken truths that I miss one. Tap into the minds of the people, rather acknowledge before I dismiss one. Atheists, Muslim, Christians, Buddhists, they all got usage. All got perspective, it's a collective. Get to the bottom where the truth is. Where the heart's uncovered. Boy, detox from all of the lies you smothered. When them tries could have killed you, but with faith you recover. Yeah. Peel off the makeup, we finna take off. Never said it'd be a cakewalk. Meditate till we charged up. Execute goes regardless. Decalcify my pineal. Breaking language barriers, we saw millennials. Planets passing age rotations, down me we owe. So down me we know. Sometimes we can't be slow, that's why my ears open. Every drop you add could complete the ocean. Speak up, play your part too. Been vulnerable, it's an art tool. Reflect on all the Jews like taught you. It's on you, tell the truth.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kimberly at the Unseen Twisted Truth. We are the People's Podcast. You support you, we will support you. And I have my co-host, Henry.
Oh, my gosh. Hi.
Hi. So right now it's just you and I, and that's okay, because I miss you.
I miss you, too. I haven't been on the podcast in a long time.
No, and we miss your face. Everybody, all the guests would be like, "Where's Henry? Where's Henry? Where's Henry?" I'm like, he's not here." And they're like, "Oh, okay, well," like they only came for Henry. But anyways,
no, badass man pajamas like me even gotta have downtime. I've been figuring out my life and whatnot, and that's good for everybody.
No, it is. I feel you. Let me push some peace and blessings out. Tonight we're going to talk about the difference between being off grid and technology, and what do the audience prefer? What do they think? I want to hear people's opinions. I want people to jump on and conversate with us. And Fred said, "Hey, what up, Henry?"
Oh, that's got to be Fred Jacklet. He's been messaging me, and I have been. You know what, Fred will be. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring you, buddy. I've had a lot of stuff going on, but I love you. What up, Henry? I'm finally on the podcast, Fred. And you know what? If anyone can talk about living off grid and whatnot, it's my man Fred here. Yeah, he's a rural.
What do you prefer, Fred? Off grid or technology?
Let's see here. This is cool.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
All good. Let us know, Fred. What do you think? Should we go back to the old ways or is technology the way? That's our little discussion tonight.
He said what?
Mixture. Yep. That's good too. And I see people starting to run vehicles on different fluids and whatnot, and then you know you're getting into a cool mixed territory. Hello, welcome.
So this is Project Logic, and see, this is how out of the loop I am with certain things. I just realized I invited him on, and I didn't realize who he was until like he was already going to come on, and I was like, "Hey, by the way, are you Project Logic?" I feel bad for asking this, and he was like, "He's like, yeah," and I'm like, "Oh snap." I'm honored to have you on though, because you're a lyrical genius to me.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
Heck
yeah. Yeah. It's like your name holds weight in Pontiac.
That's what's up.
I'm glad to hear that. Gotta love
you. Joe was supposed to be on, and Joe knows you. Joe knows you from way back in the day.
Joe?
Dillard, sub to pro.
Oh, Delvon, yeah, that's my guy.
Yeah. He said way back in the day.
Yeah. That's my guy right there.
Yeah. He's supposed to be on, so. But anyways, peace and blessings. So we're talking about being off grid in technology, and which one do you prefer?
Technology.
You want to say why?
Yeah, it's easy. I'm accustomed to, easier way of doing things, simplified way of doing things. Of course, I guess the more healthier way would be off grid, mentally, physically, spiritually, all around. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm accustomed to being able to pick up my phone and order food, to know where my kids are with an Apple tag, things like that. Like I'm not going to pretend like those things haven't been ingrained in my livelihood, and I don't know what it would be like to go back to not having any of that. So my choice would be the easier route.
So I imagine it would be pretty much impossible for anyone from modern society to integrate into a unreached tribe, like an isolated tribe or something living in primarily South America is where we find them. We've got about 100 documented, undocumented tribes, if that makes any sense, living in the world. It'd be impossible. I think the fun would wear off at about half a day. And you'd realize you cannot run 30 miles an hour like these people who do not eat preservatives and antibiotics and the same shit, have the same sickness as we do.
And Fred said, a high-tech Amish lifestyle.
Yeah, that's Fred. That's you, Fred. That's you in a nutshell. High-tech Amish. Not quite Mennonite.
So they said explore the reasons individuals and communities decide to go off-grid. They went on. I asked AI what I should do. See, here's technology, and it says discuss the appeal of self-sufficiency, sustainability, and the desire to escape the constant buzz of technology. Now, me personally, I am really spiritual, so I prefer off-grid. I will be the type that will want solar panels and windmills and hot water pipes running through my floorboards to heat my floor, plus to run my hot water from solar. I'm so off grid. I'm not in tune. There's Pro. I'm not in tuned with technology that much, anyways. So to me, it'd be easier for me to go off grid. It'd be something I'll have to get accustomed to, but I don't really care because you could still have internet off grid.
Like that mixture, like Fred says.
Yeah, because off grid does not mean that you do not have the internet. Off grid does not mean that you do not use some form of technology. You just use solars and man-made ways of using that technology.
So what's the definition of off grid again?
Well, off grid is like using your own supply of electricity. That's my opinion.
Hunting, gathering. I said hunting around, gathering. Yeah, harnessing natural resources and things such as water and wind and everything. I mean, even that's technology to a degree.
Yeah, so that's what I was. So I thought it was more so, and I this is just literally my off the cuff opinion. I thought when you refer to being on the grid, you're referring to more so like traceable technology.
Yes.
Things that can be traced back to you, like DTE. You're paying a bill that's traced to your address. You're using a cell phone that can be traced to you. A credit card can be traced to you. So I thought it was more so things that were traceable to you. So if that was the case, then the internet would be like traceable to you.
Well, you can actually. Oops, I apologize. I don't know what I did. My bad. I don't even know how to get that back. My bad.
I think it's fairly impossible to escape the bonds of society if you are on the internet. I do agree with that. There are ways around it.
You can be untraceable still on the internet. I swear. There is ways. Turning off your location, having it where it doesn't sync back to you. You can still be on the internet and not be traceable. Sub to Pro?
So we want the benefits of the grid just without being traced from the grid?
Well, no, because I wouldn't be using electricity per se. I would be using solar panels. I'd be using our resources, our natural resources to get the energy that I need. Our natural resources to get the electricity. Our natural resources to get water. Our natural resources to sustain everyday living.
I think we're debating on the level of primitive you want to really go to. You could probably argue which one's reality. Do we live in reality if we go back to the way of living, like just from nature, nothing, or is reality the technological aspect of where we've gotten so far? We're supposed to be where we are, and what if technology fails? But do you think it even can fail now at this point? We have so many fail safes set in the point.
Well, when you put it like that, evolution is a real thing, regardless of off the grid or technology. So, regardless, things are going to advance. So, in that sense, it leads more to things being more technologically based. Um, I think as I got older, being off the grid is being disconnected from what society makes popular, not so much not utilizing what we've progressed to. I don't necessarily not want to use a car anymore because of pollutions, but I can see where using more eco-friendly things and walking more and getting more outdoors can be beneficial to everybody as well. So, um, as much as I would like things to be nature based and things like that, after I seen Snowden, there's really no way that you can be truly off the grid. You're being watched by a satellite at all times.
Right, absolutely. That's how we probably gather most of our information on tribes. Most of the reason we can't reach any of these untalked to tribes is just geographic location. It's almost impossible to get to them. So,
And for me, my personal opinion is it's not that I don't want to be traced. It's the fact that I want to have a natural flow with the energy of the universe and not having it pushed with the radioactive EMF waves and all this other stuff. I prefer to just naturally flow with the universe and have it come for
Well,
me.
that go back into being like uniquely in tune with yourself first, and that once you go inside, you basically off the grid. Nobody's in there with you.
I limit my talking to people every single day because I prefer to have that inner peace of of just being at one, just in the now. If I didn't have that interaction with my grandson all the time, I honestly would be just by myself. And it's not because I want solitude. It's the fact of that right now I already have a headache from hypersensitive because I'm hypersensitive to different energies. Just because someone tried calling me before the podcast and talk about drama, I try to avoid things like that because I can feel their energy. So I try to avoid certain people in certain situations and certain things just because I feel energy so much that it makes me sick.
Well, yeah, that just go back to me believing that truly going off the grid is being one with yourself because we all connected to the universe. So it's
Mhm.
like um technology doesn't take away from you being connected to the universe. You do. If you allow the phone in your hand to be more of a prevalence than actually living life, if you allow the things that make life easier to make you stagnant or not make you grow or not make you as physically active or just uh quick witted as you would normally be or normally would be forced to be without technology. I think that's when people get to being like I want to get away from that. I don't want to be a part of that system. And it's like if you were truly one with yourself, you'll realize that one, you're you're always gonna be part of a system. So if we went off the grid, somebody would be trying to control whatever we would go into.
right. They
Even
put moratoriums on rainwater for fuck's sakes and shit. Like it's
What'd you say
clearly
again? Say it again, Henry.
I said they put moratoriums on rainwater and
Oh
whatnot.
yeah. Yeah.
Clearly they don't want you to harness some of these things. Maybe.
No,
That's all it takes.
that's the case though too. See, and that's what I've noticed. I try to stay out of the whole issue there because none of my business and I can't control it. I can't change it. It has nothing to do really per se with me, so I won't let it affect me. But at the end of the day, I've heard and seen certain things on different Amish people getting their farms shut down and whatnot because of them using a system where they didn't need the government. They are able to sustain off the land themselves without using the government and stuff like that. The government has to control it. It really wants to control every single thing you do. And if it can't control what you do, it's going to find a way to control what you do.
How much do you feel that the government controls your personal life right now? Like daily?
A lot, because I don't even own myself. So,
do you make conscious choices though?
yes.
Do you think that those choices that you make are totally out of your control?
No.
Then I would not use, me personally, I don't use that as
But can I
anymore.
Can I intervene though?
Go ahead.
What I'm saying though is if I start bringing awareness and start getting more people to look at that, what I do, and I start building more of a base, almost like a vigilante slash community of people that feel the way I feel, I will get shut down.
And the thing is like this, because you're actively making a front against somebody. If you, I don't know how people wouldn't expect a mob to react to another mob rising in resistance to what they got going on. It's
That's exactly
nature.
Yeah.
That you just said, I declare war.
Right.
So you got to peacefully like yank yourself away from society.
I'm saying like the hippies peacefully descended and they got shot in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why balance is important. That's why
you don't literally have to like physically go against something. Silence. People think you don't care when you don't say anything. So it's like no matter what action you take is gonna be taken some kind of way. We don't control how people receive things.
No.
Henry, what did Fred say? I can't see it.
Well, let's pump back in. Actually, I was pretty enamored when let's see Fred sit in front of the wood stove while I watch, but I wouldn't give up the blower, LOL. That's a very good point. He says, I interact with as many people as possible because even the small, shut the fuck up, scenarios, it makes life easier to overcome. I know a guy got this instead of running in place panicking. Huh. That's good. I mean, keeping an even mindset and keel on stuff. I like what Joe, you said earlier, not to cut anyone off, about technology and using it, because, you know, a lot of people demonize a lot of apps and stuff and TikTok and whatnot. And they don't realize that you can look up how to hunt for mushrooms or forage. And there's all these cool little information things on there that you could be looking at.
Right. And that's exactly what people go. Exactly. They go extremely to the negative. I'm a victim of that. When something new comes out, I'm automatically not a fan of it for no fucking reason other than the fact that it's new. So like I know what it is to be away or like trying to push change or keep control change. Change is uncontrollable. It's going to happen. I'm not God, and you shouldn't even have to remind yourself that shit.
Yeah, change. Yeah, being adaptable. So being adaptable is really important. I mean, let's say you completely
or
rely
even if you just like stuck in your ways, you have to realize that that's what life is. You're set in stone. Life moves around.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being plain Jane, having a routine and sticking to that. That's a part of life as well as chaos is. But acting like you supposed to have one without the other, or paying the attention to one more than the other, there you go.
Absolutely. And there's a nature versus nurture aspect there. You could be born into a very violent area and stuff, and what is normal for us is completely abnormal for you, and vice versa. So,
and on top of that, even those scenarios breed different situations. So I've seen people that's been in a way worse position in life or gone through way what I would consider way worse trauma in life, and they have done amazing things in their lifetime. They didn't let that negative thing become them. They evolved, leaning more towards technology, the wiring of your brain to defeat something that would normally kill you.
sounds painfully familiar in some aspects.
I mean, everybody's done that.
What do
Hey,
you,
Jay, I don't know if you're trying to say something. I see your mouth moving, but I can't
there's
hear you.
glitches too. I don't know who's making that noise, that glitchy noise, but it's on the audio. It's going to sound really bad.
Yeah, it's do you got your Bluetooth on or something like that?
Nah.
Okay, I can hear you. I can hear you clear now.
Yeah.
No,
I
there's
wasn't saying
ticking.
that. I was
There's
just
ticking. There's a ticking that someone's doing when they're speaking, Joe. It might be you a little bit. I'm not sure, but there's a
Maybe
ticking.
it's me.
I don't know.
Nope.
It sounds like ruffling around or a ticking.
Oh, shit hits the fan.
Right.
All right, go ahead, Terrance.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that. I was just checking to see if the ticking sound was coming from me or not.
Oh,
No, I can totally hear you now. I thought
Okay.
maybe I just couldn't. I saw your mouth moving a little bit, and I didn't.
Oh no, I just smiled when you said something. That was all. I wasn't really.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, I still am to a certain degree wishing that things couldn't be simpler, but we can use how far we've came along with not forgetting where we came from to be even better. So that's why the Matrix is my favorite movie, because it's this thing, off the grid versus technology. And then
It's
the third installment, Neo found out that there isn't one without the other. As sure as a caveman learned how to make a fire,
fire in the wheel, tool usage.
it kept going. We evolved. We made languages. We went from grunting to making sign language to like actually making complete, I don't know how many languages it is in the world, and then slang and derived versions of those languages.
Yeah, we've
So
forgotten hundreds of languages.
are we gonna go back to just no, I'm gonna use what I learned so that you can clearly understand what I'm saying.
Bro, I tell you, I wish I would pay good money to go back and just see the evolution of music from nothing. Wouldn't that be some shit? Wouldn't it?
But that's the thing, the drum was always there. The first time you heard a thud, where did that come from? And then you do it again, and then you do it repetitively.
Not only that, though, they use that to speak. Back in the day, any kind of sound was a way of communication. They went from sounds to smells. So they went from being able to, I apologize.
No, you good.
They went from being able to connect with someone through smoke, through cooking, through different things. And when they teach you to be a Reiki spiritual healer, they teach you to go all the way back to remember how it all started from the beginning, and how we use the natural things to intertwine with each other. I prefer that, to be honest with you. I rather have someone make something, smell something good, to know that they want to talk to me, because that's what they used to put the pies out on the windowsill for. It wasn't just to cool them off. It was to let your neighbors know that you were home, to come on in.
Right. Hence the little thing from the cartoon, the wisp saying, "Hey, come here, you got a pie."
But it really wasn't because, you just wanted to cool it off that way. It really was a way of communicating, saying, "Hey, come over."
That's a good point. We don't live in the can I borrow a cup of sugar days anymore. We live in the get the hell off my property kind of days. Who
And
the
you
hell
know
are you?
what? And I kind of like, I'm so irritated right now, and that's a choice that I allow to be, and I have to reflect within self that I'm allowing this to get me outside of myself. But every Tuesday and Thursday, I have a podcast. It's been routine for almost 2 years now. Every Tuesday and Thursday, it's not gonna switch. And to have someone call me after my show is coming on because they obviously are in tune with themselves and not me as an individual that I have a show coming on to talk about drama that has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle that because I'd rather be able to go back and just shut my window and pull my pie in.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
and you have that right. Like I don't if if you entertain the circus, you become a clown. So I don't do that shit anymore. It is my phrase for this year is don't be the dummy you hate. And
Yeah.
it's very fucking hard. I'll put my foot in my mouth almost every other sentence. So it's like, and
That's a
it's
nasty
crazy
analogy.
because I really do believe in duality. So you can be totally solidified in what you believe in, and somebody with a good enough argument can make you look like a complete idiot. So once again, being one with self is like knowing I'm not all right, but I'm definitely not all wrong, and I'm fine with both.
Yeah. And the whole reason, and the thing is that, and then I'm about to get off, is because no energy is an energy until you feed it. But the whole reason that people feel upset is that when you no longer want to mess with them.
Hey, that's a dumb problem. And like, if you talking about something that I don't want to hear,
Yeah.
and I stay on the phone or I allow myself to get irritated, I just turn the you problem into a me problem when I
That's
could
right.
just as easily hung up the phone. And I don't care how rude that sound or seem to you. I don't like my people talk about my peace is precious and my self-worth and value and self-care, but you really show how much you care about yourself when you allow people to invade your personal space.
Exactly.
I like that. I like one of those stupid AA sayings. Some of them are pretty good, actually. Don't let people rent room in your head.
Yeah.
You know? And that actually did stick with me. I kind of like that. I say it once in a while when someone's pissing me the hell off.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The whole time you mad, they living.
And that's what it is too. No power has energy until you feed it. If you don't feed it, it's gonna dissipate. It's gonna be nothing. It can't
Even
form
worse than that,
anything.
how about you devoting power to something that's totally useless?
For real.
Like you're trying to start a lawnmower that's been dead for 20 years. The
With blowing
parts
on
that
it.
you like, they don't even make the parts for that shit anymore. It's dead and you're still trying to start it up. That's exactly what you do, giving attention to shit that doesn't deserve it.
Exactly.
I'm
You trying to
Terrance,
start up
fall into
dead
repair,
shit.
though. No.
Terrance, I want to hear your opinion on something.
Yeah, man, I'm just kind of sitting back and enjoying the discourse for real. Like, it feels good to hear varying opinions on similar topics. So yeah, I mean, I of course I have 1,000,001 opinions, but yeah.
Let's hear them.
This is the part where I told you I'm kind of crappy at. Like, if you ask me a specific question, I can give you an answer, but I'm kind of.
Do you prefer technology or do you want it off the grid?
Oh yeah, technology for sure.
Okay, and then how much do you entertain useless drama?
All the time. I got kids. So, like, my life is just entertaining useless drama from the time I get out. I mean,
all the time. I got kids. Like, no,
that makes sense though.
Yeah,
holy
I mean,
shit! Ash's Pikachu is in trouble. Like,
yeah.
The reason I love it is because, like he said, that is loving being a father right there. He said, "Oh, I do that all the time." Like, no, I will sit there and I've done it since before he could talk. I listen to my son talk shit, and I don't know what the fuck he's saying. But I listen to that shit.
Yeah, like,
be glad
like
you
for me,
talked this valid counterpoint.
Yeah, I kind of realized a long time. I kind of, I'm 40 now, so I love saying that. That's my answer to everything. I'm 40, but at about age 30, it's kind of when I realized who I was, and You know, once I learned who I was as a person, not too much can shake that, you know.
Right.
So it's like no matter what I entertain, like, and me and Jovan knowing each other, and we have mutual friends who know each other. I'm the same person in every circle. Smart friends, drug dealer friends, hood friends, work friends. I understand that, you know, I may not use profanity around my grandmother and stuff like that, but I'm still me.
Right.
So I'm comfortable in situations that I put myself in. Like me and my girl had this conversation all the time where I explained to her, you know, she likes to come home and vent, you know, and vent and just tell me about her day and things that pissed her off or whatever. And then I will offer a solution. And then she would be like, oh, I'm not coming to you for an answer. I just want to vent. And, you know, I had explained to her that, you know, that's kind of selfish. Like, we're all cups. My cup is already filled with my issues. And now you just want to pour your issues on top of it and just leave me to hold it. So it's like, look, you can come to me and vent about something 1 or 2 times. After that, we're either problem solving or the conversation is over. So it's like, now I can be around that and I can set my boundaries wherever I'm at. All of my homeboys smoke weed. I don't smoke. I work on the railroad. I can't. I hang around my homeboys all the time. They pass the blunt right past me. They know I ain't smoking. Like, so it's like negative energy, positive energy, argumentative energy. I'm still me because I know who I am. So I don't let that interfere with who I am. I walk in the door me, I'm walking out me. It took a long time and a very cumbersome process to do that. But once I got there, it was like I'm pretty much unbreakable at this point for all things that I have been around so far. I'm pretty sure something could come around possibly and change that. But for all I've been around, like, I'm me wherever I go. So that negativity doesn't bother me. The technology and what it offers, I don't have TikTok on my phone. I'm 40. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on TikTok. So I use my phone for what I use it for. I'm gonna have an iPhone 20 with the same 6 apps. Like, it doesn't change for me. So, you know, for me, it's a little different as, you know, I've protecting my peace to the point that it's kind of hard to, you know, cause me any issues no matter what the medium of issue is.
And this is exactly what the fuck I'm talking about right here. He's in his own world everywhere he goes. So it's kind of, you are literally off the grid per se. You're not tapped in to what everybody else is on. You on your own circuit board, which is still within this realm, still within this society, still within this universe, which is all, like I said before, a system. But you govern yourself. You make rules and you guide yourself by your morality and your ethics. And on top of that, you can, I know you, so I'm saying this because I know you.
Yeah.
You can admit when you're wrong.
Sometimes.
So you allow yourself.
That's the one thing I need to work on.
Look,
I work on that.
Everybody do. Everybody does. Because when you really feel a certain way, it's like, I'm not stupid. You ain't about, look, we done had these conversations. So I'm like, look, I ain't stupid. I know you're not stupid, but I'm not stupider. So it's like, we go back and forth on that. But being solid in who you are, you can exchange a debate with somebody and not let it really fuck with you at, like, I got heated in that debate, but I got to go to work. I got kids to raise. I like doing music. I ain't work. That's not my whole, that ain't, after that second is done, I'm basically off that shit. And I can choose to revisit it or leave it right where the fuck it is.
I was going to say your bar on drama is a little different than that too, because, you know, you're a parent, and with parenting comes a bunch of shit. I mean, literal shit and shit from them. And
I mean,
that's just something you do it with.
Yeah, I said that tongue in cheek, you know, but like, I do, you know, I'm a dad now. I'm a civilian now. I have a 9-to-5 job now. I stay in the same city I grew up in. And the me that's sitting here talking to you now is not the same me that would have been talking to you when I was 17, 18, 19, and 20.
When I first met him.
It's times where I'm out in public with my children in the city that I grew up in, and I run into somebody from a past life who may still have certain resentment because, to you, you know, you beat me up or whatever, but I held on to that for the last 20 years. And now that person may want smoke. And now they might have a weapon on them. And I'm with my 5-year-old son and my 14-year-old daughter, and I gotta navigate through these situations. You know what I'm saying? So there are different levels of that type of drama that I deal with. My daughter at the age where she's in the 9th grade and she's starting to date now. We're talking about boys and things like that. At work and being a union member and dealing with negotiating and dealing with people from different backgrounds and understanding how it works. It's just once you realize that everything is subjective, right? And everything is going to be based on your perspective and your experiences. Then you kind of realize that no matter what the medium is, the same things are going to exist. Going back to the conversational topic, if we go back to completely off the grid, then somebody's going to look at you the moment you build a boat and say, hey, that boat's not natural. You're not supposed to be able to traverse across that much water. Then you're going to still have those same debates and hierarchy conversations, just like you would have with going to the moon. We had Lord of the Flies. We have all these type of situations where you put people together. Know what? They try to create a government. They try to create a hierarchy. There's going to be drama. Somebody's going to have to be the Caesar, so it's always going to be the same situations. We just always try to blame the medium. Is it the TV? Is it the newspaper? Is it the phone? Is it that damn hip hop? Or is it rock and roll? Is it Elvis shaking his hips? It's always something, but no matter what it is, it's just us. It's just naturally ingrained in us. So once you realize that, you don't really let the medium bother you. You address the issue, which is understanding who you are, so you can navigate within that system. Yeah. And that goes around to no matter what system you are in. So that's just it's like y'all just kind of confirming the same things that I believe. Is like it's good to hear other people say that, just in different ways. And so I was just more so agreeing than anything.
So with Tuesday's podcast, we talked about the queen's role and how a woman should be more feminine and stop trying to take the energy of a dominant woman to take that from a man, because that's not our role. And we don't take, and that women don't take the responsibility of fact that they aren't feminine no more, and that they are trying to, they want equal rights and this and that and this and that. But when it comes out to go to the war, they're not going to fight it. But yet and I'm going to say we loosely, because I'm not putting myself in this category, but I'm not going to single myself out either to see if I'm higher than them. Yeah. But at the end of the day, everybody should walk in the light that they want others to see them in. And you can't go around and say that you're a queen, and yet you're out here entertaining stuff that's not of you.
Yeah. I mean, that's a very slippery slope. Because like I was having this conversation with somebody at work, and how certain social norms work and how certain gender norms work and things that are widely accepted to be. And just kind of like right now with this conversation that we're having, you seem to be an exception to a lot of rules. Exception, you move different than a lot of people do that I interact with. So it would be disrespectful of me to lump you in to when I say females move like this, women move, you be like, that's not me. So when you automatically assume that certain women are supposed to move with a certain feminine energy, or certain men are supposed to move with a certain masculine energy, what you're doing is you're taking away their individuality, and you're telling them you should be based on a set of values that I'm placing on you, and not the values you've placed on yourself. And some women are going to jump up and grab that gun and say, yo, let me shoot. Yeah. Some dudes are going to be like, I don't want no parts of that. We can't place our personal values on the people.
Real.
I got more makeup on than Kimberly right now.
And and you're speaking the truth. And that's why I make sure that I say that this is just my opinion and this is how I live for me. I'm not telling everybody this way, but at the end of the day, when someone sees something, I see something on social media, I guarantee you, I'm telling you 1000% of the time, I'm not going to take it personal, because it doesn't belong to me. I don't care what anybody thinks of me at the end of the day, because when I look in the mirror, that's all that matters to me, is how I see me. And I wish, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but I wish more people felt that way.
They
I
have
wish
to go
more
through the
people were more
process.
mindful of self, that they realize the only thing they can control is self. Everything outside of them is none of their business.
So the thing is, like most of us, and I don't, other than Jovan, I don't know you guys personally, but what I've noticed is a lot of people who have got to a comfortable place, it has come with a trail of trauma behind it that has
Yes.
led you there, right? So a lot of times what happens is when you refer to things like social media and stuff like that, that's the new medium. And I've had somebody like one of the funniest things in the world to me is when I'm having a real conversation with somebody and they quote a meme. Like, are we really doing this? Is this how we want a human today? Like we're quoting memes. Like that stuff shapes people's thoughts. Like it that's why when it comes to music, when it comes to advertising, they always want that 18 to 35 demographic because you're still impressionable. You're still at that point where if I can drill something in your head at 33, you're going to carry it to 66. So these things that we want people to understand, we understand them because we got a trail of trauma behind us that we had to fight through to get to this understanding. And now we're creating a
Yes.
generation of people that have all the same thoughts and feelings that we do, but didn't go through the trauma. So there's no value in it. So that's why what makes this podcast so refreshing is because everybody wants to have a hot take. Everybody wants to debate. Everybody wants to have an opinion, as if these aren't real topics and these aren't real things. There's these lists going on out here right now that are like women making lists, the top 10 men I won't date. And then men are the top 10 women I won't date, and what women need to have in order for me to date them. And this, what some may see as a social media joke, is really engineering the way people think. Because now
Exactly.
young 19-year-old women are telling 18-year-old boys, you bet not take me to Red Lobster. Like, bro, he can't even afford Red Lobster. Like, but now this
Exactly.
social engineering is changing the way you think, and it's becoming the real thing. So it's like, it's a very, like, that's what I say, it's a slippery slope because we have to protect our peace. But when we're the only ones at peace and everybody around us is at war, that's when we become a victim of friendly fire. So it's like, do you go out and interject yourself in other people's issues to try to create a bigger circle of peace? Or do you just sit around and pray that you don't get hit with a stray bullet with everybody else because their opinions of whether you, no matter what you are shaped by these social media narratives, which is where that off the grid, on the grid technology comes back into play. The greatest leaders, the greatest warriors, the greatest coaches, their biggest attribute is they understand the enemy.
Yeah.
Right.
Of
If you,
course.
it's more understanding what they're doing and how they're moving. So you hop yourself off the grid, you have no idea that these people is coming for you. You just living your life, swinging from trees and eating apples. The next thing you know, you're being invaded and you have no idea what's going on. Like, so being, tied in with that technology creates an awareness, and it's an entire slope that, creates a much bigger issue. So it's like, what do we want to do? Tuck our heads under the covers and just act like it's not going on, or be a part of it and risk our own inner peace by bringing all of that into your life?
So I've learned so much about the world through TikTok, honestly, because I don't watch TV and I don't watch the news, never. And so for that to be said, I learned what other people do around the world through TikTok by their little things that they show. Now, I'm not going to believe everything I see at all. I'm going to pick and choose and have to, wing it through it, try to figure out what's real and what's not. At the end of the day, we all have to go out there and lead by example. We can't just sit here and talk about it and then not do nothing about it, because that is wasting time. It's just wasting energy. We are over here saying this is how we need to be, but yet we're not becoming that, and we're not walking in that light, and we're not showing the next generation to how to do that.
And the social media aspect of it is it removes that debate that you're talking about, man. It removes that debate. Who the hell wins in a comment section? I mean, if you want a good example of that, go look up any fighting demonstration video and look at the comment section to see how people actually integrate. And it'll show you how well social media actually works like that. And that shit doesn't happen in dojos and sports arenas like that. It just happens on social media. We can't handle the fact that we can expose our thoughts into a large collective consciousness. And it really kind of messes a lot of people up.
That's the goal.
I'm the clicker.
You are the clicker. What is clicking, though?
I don't know. Maybe my FBI agent doesn't like me. that guy's working around the clock. I'm telling you.
Hey, you almost got us kicked off for saying you're a vampire.
Right here, man.
Hold up, Henry. Hey, I'm just kidding.
Prank caller,
I'm
prank
crazy.
caller.
Just kidding, just kidding. He really ain't on the show.
No, I'm a figment. Y'all are tripping.
But yeah, no, see, and that's what we have to do, is because the reason why people, and this is what we talked about on the podcast on Tuesday, is that the fact of that, not only is it passed on through generation and generation, yet people built this strength up because they felt they had to, and letting go of that strength to become submissive is almost starting over and finding yourself all over again. And it's fear to a lot of individuals. They don't want to, on condition, every agreement that was told to them by their ancestors that they believed and loved and worshipped, that it's all bullshit and I've been lied to my whole entire life.
Yeah, so it's kind of like
once they go ahead.
Oh no, I had a little delay there. I'm sorry. Okay. It's kind of like what you were saying about the government and how the government wants not you, excuse me, I don't remember who said it. I'm sorry, I don't want to put words in your mouth. But how the government wants to know what everybody's doing. And here's the thing, like when it comes to those type of situations, before you can play any game, you have to agree on a set of rules, right? So if me and you are going to have a spelling contest, we're going to first have to agree that the dictionary is going to be the tiebreaker for any disagreement. If we don't agree that the dictionary is the tiebreaker for any disagreement, then the spelling contest is null and void, because you believe science is spelled this way, I believe it's spelled that way. It's just an ongoing argument. Yes. So when you talk about like masculine and feminine energy and who should move whatever way and women should let go of that masculine energy, the guys are not, there's no one set of rules that we're all playing by.
None.
So if there's no set of rules, how do I know when to allow what energy to be prevalent in this situation? That's kind of the ideology of a government. If we set the set of rules, everybody knows how the game is played. The ideology, not how it works, but that's the idea.
Right.
Let's set the rules. Now everybody play within this framework. So, men are a lot of dudes that I'm thankful to say all the men that are in my circle are great fathers. But a lot of men know how to talk a great game until you're pregnant, and then boom, they on to the next one.
Right.
So when you walk into that situation, how do you know what energy to have? You don't even know if you're responding to that actual person, his representative. You don't know what's going on. So it's like you can't come into the game saying that's where groups come into play, because like back in the day, if a guy said he was Christian, oh, okay, you're moving with this set of values, and you're a Christian and I'm a Christian, and we know how to act around each other. If you're Islamic and I'm Islamic, okay, we both understand we're operating within these set of rules. If you're Southern and I'm Southern, okay, we operating it. Now there are no standard set of rules, but we're trying to place standards on the people. So it's like you're trying to play chess with Monopoly pieces. And you're trying to play checkers with trouble pieces. And it's like, like with that individuality that we all want and that we all crave. And it's like, I should be able to be a Monopoly piece on this checkerboard. And this checkerboard, I should be able to be a checker piece on this chessboard. And now nobody understands the rules of the game. And I'm trying to tell you, hey, queen, you can only move this way. And hey, pawn, well, I'm not playing that game. I'm playing sorry. And I can push the button and go 6 spaces. And we're all moving around individually. Who's going to win the game?
I'm Candyland. Who the fuck's representing me?
Exactly, right? So shoots and ladders up the block. Like, what are we doing? Nobody. So when you when you give individuality and when you treat everybody as an individual and we all say we're our own individual standard, then your version of a win could just be playing the game. My version of a win could be making it past go. So so it's kind of hard to tell somebody, yo, move with this feminine energy or move with this masculine energy. Bro, I don't even know what game we playing. Like, it looked like my son's room right now, just pieces everywhere. And we just trying to figure out what to do, and we just end up watching cartoons and go to sleep. Like, that's what comes with individuality, chaos, because everybody's free to do what they want to do. The moment you try to reel in that chaos, now I have to put you in a box, and you may not want to go in that box, but that's the only way we can identify you, so we know this isn't chaos. This is him. He's a man. This is her. She's a girl. Well, I don't feel that way. Well, I don't feel that way. I don't identify that way. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, he's black. She's white. Well, I don't, because I'm black, I don't like fried chicken. And because I'm white, I don't like raisins in my potato salad. Okay, what are we doing here? Like, everybody's kind of confused on how to move. But then when we reduce that confusion, now we reduce your individuality. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want individuality and confusion? Or do you want clarity and reduced individuality? There's very few situations where you have both and it's successful.
That is dope as fuck. That is dope as fuck how you just tied in that with off the grid versus technology, because that's literally it. Where you with that, we don't even know what game we playing, because everybody playing off their own set of rules. So everybody playing I win, everybody really losing at the same time, because there is no winner if everybody wins. We're just everybody gets a participation medal. Yes, you you did.
There's a bunch of like homosexual history scribed on walls and shit too. I mean, this is not our first attempt at all of this stuff either. You know, society is cyclical, I guess, because you said earlier we govern. We always going to go back to governing something. There's no way we can be human without a form of government, because we have conscious thought. So.
I mean, that's even with animals. You're going to find the leader of the pride. You're going to find it's always going to be a hierarchy, because everybody is yearning for some type of understanding of what's going on. Everybody, like, I do certain things purposefully right now, like, just because my little controlled chaos. Like, when I meet somebody for the first time, I refuse to tell them what job I do. Like, and it's not like it's a secret. I'm a train conductor. I don't care. But people, the first thing they want to do when they meet you is they want to find a way to put you in a box.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? So what do you do? And that's okay. If I say I work at fast food, oh, he's poor, he's this, he's that respect. Oh, I'm a doctor. Oh, big respect. What do you do? I like to hang out, listen to music, have fun. No, like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I like to go work out, lift weights, that type of thing. No, like, how do you make money? Like, I might go DoorDash. I don't know. Like, why does money matter? Like, people yearn to put you in the box. Let you use a slang word around somebody right now, and they don't know what does that mean. Why are you saying that? What is people want to understand, so they can put you in a box, so they can feel comfortable.
So there's a good example. Someone says to me, "What do you like to do for fun?" Yeah. I don't drink alcohol. I don't go out. I don't I don't listen to music. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't eat meat. I said I like being. I don't watch TV. They're like, "What do you mean you like being? What does that mean?" I like being. I like being in the now. I like being within self. I like being in the universe. I like being in nature. I like being. They said, "Oh, I don't get that." What do you mean? What do you do for fun? Being is fun, but they can't wrap their head around it, because it's not a box that they can just throw you in and say, "Oh, this is this is her."
Because if you think about that from the nature standpoint, off grid versus on grid, right? When two animals approach each other, like, the first thing you want to do is they want to assess the threat.
Yeah.
So the first, whether it's smell, whether it's teeth, whether it's size, whatever, the first thing you want to do is assess the threat. So that's a natural thing to do. I get it. So the first thing they want to do when they're around you or me or whoever is assess the threat. What do you do? Oh, he's a doctor. He's probably not going to rob me. Oh, he has a good job. He's probably not going to come begging and borrowing money from me.
That's called profiling too.
Yeah, it's like the first thing you want to do is you want to. That's how you create. That's a natural thing to
Yep,
do.
it is.
And so, but like, I just like to mess with people. Like, to see how people react when they're uncomfortable around you. Because the way I carry myself, like, I don't carry myself. I carry myself a certain way purposefully. Like, I dress the way I dress purposefully. So I always get stereotyped a certain way, and I'm fine with that. I do it on purpose. Like, I'm not. I'm 40. I'm still wearing my jeans. I'm not sagging, but I'm still wearing my jeans, still wearing my hats, still wearing my hoodies. I'm comfortable. That's what I choose to do. If you choose to make a stereotype or choose to try to profile me in a certain way, that's your choice. Like, it's not going to harm me. I'm going to do me. But it's just when I do things like that, just to see how people respond to you, see how people, just like with my daughters, I've been teaching my daughters, if a man tells you, hey, you're beautiful, you look nice today, say, I know, and see how they respond. I know.
Hey, TJ.
Yeah.
My daughter said, like, she a Virgo just like you are. That shit crazy.
Yeah.
I always say, you so beautiful. I know. And I looked at her like, I made that.
Yeah,
conceited motherfucker.
So, I'm glad you guys are.
I never, but real quick, I never corrected her because
there's no correction needed.
Because she wasn't lying. So I'm like,
the reason for that is, like, especially like with my daughter, the thing is what I was teaching her is that people try to give you something you already have, so you value them. As if she didn't know she was beautiful, as if she didn't know she looked good. So if I tell you you're beautiful now, oh, thank you, I'm so appreciative. But if you know you're beautiful, I know.
You automatically.
Oh, who you think you is? Oh, you think you all that? No, I don't think I'm all that. You just told me I was all that. Didn't you tell me I was beautiful? So why are you offended by me knowing what you told me? Because you're telling me to get thanks.
Knowing myself, whether you told me or not.
Yeah, but that person is saying that to get something.
Right.
They want to thank you. They want you to feel appreciative of them giving you something, as if they gave you something you didn't already have. If I'm beautiful, what are you giving me? What you say?
And so I'm breaking my grandson of saying I know right now, and he's doing it in a different way. I'll say, go shut the bathroom light off, and he'll be like, I know, but it's on. Just say okay and go shut it off.
Yeah,
but he says I know to everything that I say to him to do. And I'm just like, if you know, then why am I telling you to do it? I'm like, pick up this trash. She'd be like, oh, I know.
Yeah, my daughter does. I was about to. No matter what you tell her to do, she was about to.
Yep, and he's always, I know.
In the kid's mind, look, they're at work with their parent all day. So you're the boss. So it's like, just imagine your boss telling you something that you hear every day. I know it's not that they're necessarily blowing you off, is that they hear that shit every fucking day. I know, like, even if I don't have any intentions on doing that shit, yes, I know that because you tell me every fucking day.
But I'm telling him, though, it sounds arrogant and cocky when he says I know, when he could just say okay.
And that's what, and this is why I did not. This is why I didn't correct Kiara when she said I don't know, for her reasons, is because this is the box that we start putting them in. And what TJ just said, it validates that this society bases their life off of likes, comments, shares, and shit. And now that his daughter know, like, my validity ain't based off of what people say, see, or know about me.
And just to clear that up, I don't have her going around doing that all the time. That was just a conversation that we were having as she was getting towards that age of liking boys and things like that. And I'm explaining to her value and who she is, and the fact that people will try to give you something that you already have and make it seem like it didn't belong to you already. So I was explaining to her, like, right now, if this older gentleman who was standing in front of us, if he held the door open for you, he's going to expect you to say thank you. if you just walk through that open door that he held, he's probably gonna mumble under his breath, ungrateful. Did you saying thank you or you appreciating the fact that he held that door open? Is it really gonna affect his day at all? No, but the expectation is that you will be thankful for that.
Doesn't it feel good to throw compliments out to people and to hold doors for people? Like it does. It just feels good. I always when you said individuality and you said, you know, I work for the railroad. This is what I do for money. The first thing I didn't think of was you do that for money. I think I heard you guys were having a really hard time lately. I hope you're okay.
Yeah, we good. Yeah.
That's good. And that's how we break the individuality thing.
Yeah.
And what TJ just said, be the person that's opening the door. Are you gonna now stop opening the door for people because one person said fuck you or didn't say nothing at all? Or
it was just about understanding the dynamics of how interpersonal communication works and what people are looking for. If you understand the dynamics of the situation, you know how to navigate within that situation, right? So you understand the value of certain things and you understand the necessity of these things. And they'll be sitting there waiting for you to apologize. And then the moment you apologize, oh, you didn't have to say I'm sorry. Like, you know, I'll be walking down the aisle on the train, I'll step on somebody's shoe and I'll say, oh, I'm sorry. And they'll say, that's okay. But I bet if I didn't say I'm sorry, it'd been this moment just stepped on my foot. Didn't even say
exactly.
Like, because so you have to understand how people move in these different situations so you know how to navigate correctly. Like, okay, next time I'm just gonna step on people's feet and not say I'm sorry. But well, she said I didn't have to, so
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
like, oh, that's the norm now. Niggas stepping on feet now,
and
right?
people
like
and these things, when you incorporate more technology and you incorporate the more technology you have, the less personal communications you have, the less personal interactions you have. So you have less opportunities to have these situations in person, so you don't know how to navigate in them.
And
but
you know,
at the same time, the comments list will tell you what people think. So after a while of this thing circulating, you're gonna get what's more the consensus in that era. So
the sad thing is though, like the kids don't even know how to do silent or cursive. They can't read cursive at all right now. At all.
Okay, it's grown people that don't know how to spell.
No, I was going somewhere with this conversation.
Go ahead, my bad.
And so we start and we realize what is what matters and what doesn't matter. Now society is telling you, schools are telling you that it's okay to not know this and not do this and not do that. But then when you get older and you're in a business situation and you're trying to read this letter that was sent to you that wasn't sent through email, it was sent to you personally, because it still may happen. You may stumble across something in business that is still using the old school ways, because just because, like Joe said earlier, just because it's new, a lot of people don't want to do something because it's new.
Yeah.
There's the older people that still are the mom and pops restaurants and whatnot that do not want to transfer over to emails, and they will mail letters still. And you'll still get something where you have to handwrite something and they want you to do it and sign your name, and you don't know what a cursive name looks like.
Go back to what TJ was talking about though. You like a lot of people where I come from will blame the school system on the potential of a black person or a person from the inner city being able to progress in life. And you can point at a lot of things and say, yes, that's very fucking true. They don't offer a lot of things in inner city schools that they have readily available in the suburbs. But knowing this, do we take the attitude that we're going to use what we have available and do the best with it? Nah, we was jitting in class. We was capping on people.
To her point though, I think what it boils down to is, like, she made a very valid point with speaking in cursive, but every generation speaking in cursive, Jesus Christ.
Right. Well, I know what you meant.
Every generation has something like that. I bet there's somebody right now who's 60 years old looking at you saying, you don't know how to use an abacus.
Right.
With these darn calculators, you don't know how to use an abacus. Like, you guys don't know how to send smoke signals. Like, there's always going to be us. Like, we're the dinosaurs now. Like, we're the ones who grew up with rotary phones and turning the knob on the TV channel and things like that. And every generation, a lot of those things do just become outdated. And we lose a lot of that as we move on. You know, with us being able to use slang. I know my grandparents talk about how you used to have to dress up in school. You had to wear a tie and you had to say the pledge and you had to say a prayer. And it's always going to be,
We had to iron
things
our
are going to
clothes.
become obsolete and antiquated over the time. And cursive was something that one day somebody said, hey, this is how we write. And we were just like, okay. And now all of a sudden they're saying, this is not how we write. And we're just like, okay.
Maybe technology is outdated. That all of our
Yeah.
computers have different fonts in them. Now, my boy Fred in the comments has said that you're your child's first educator, and I don't have any kids, and I'm not going to have any kids, which is okay. But I don't bullshit kids. Any chance I get, if I see a kid like using a tape measure wrong, not like a toy or something, I'll show them how to use it, and they'll have more fun using the thing in practice.
Yeah.
We want to teach kids to want to learn. Then they might want to adapt cursive, even if it's outdated. But
that comes along with technology, though, is the proper education of how to utilize it. Because I mean, we can't keep talking about the next generation being stupid when we don't give any thought to who's parenting them.
Exactly. And that's why I said we got to lead by example in everything we do. We sit here and complain about everything, but yet we're not doing nothing to make a difference. So that's what TJ was saying earlier about going in a box. Do you want to have this inner peace where you are quietly just minding my own business and I'm swinging from trees and eating pineapple and bananas, or am I gonna be hip and aware to know what's going on around me so I can be prepared? And I'm telling you, I can dance with the devil and not let him eat at my table, but you got to know what it looks like.
Exactly.
Because you can't be afraid of something that you don't know nothing about. So you got to put yourself in that situation to know that it's coming for you.
Exactly.
So the whole fact of the matter is that my grandchild is around the same age as Javon's daughter, and I get to the fact that I think it's norm for kids at a certain age. She's 11, he's 10, going to be 10. It's normal for them 10, 11, 12-year-olds to all do something at the same time for some reason. It's the weirdest thing, but like her saying I know and him saying I know, that's not the only thing that they do that's similar. There's a lot of things that they do that's similar around that age, that they're trying to find out who they really are. And they really do know a whole bunch, and their opinions really do matter to them. And we got to sit there and let them be individuals. We can't stop them from being true to who they are because we want them to be a certain way.
Well, that's go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I like interacting with kids for shorter periods of time sometimes. Do more that way. What the hell's going on with my shit today?
What were you saying, Javon?
No, all I was saying is it's crazy how all this is tying right back into the title, because how do we know when we're truly being individual when we try so hard to fit into a place that is not like you individually?
Right.
Like when Kiara started playing with fidget spinners, I was like, okay. And then I saw all the kids had one, and I was like, okay. And then I found out what one actually was, and I was like, so y'all took autistic kids' means of being able to sit still for something and made it a toy?
Basically.
Wow. Then I shoved my hacky sack back in my pocket.
So, but that's what.
I get what you're saying.
But I say all that to say this: like, did I want a Nintendo because I like video games, or did I want a Nintendo because it was a new thing out? Did I want to rap because I wanted to express myself and have something to say over a beat, or did I rap because Biggie inspired me that fucking much?
Right.
That's what I'm saying about the individuality versus the community, the off the grid versus the technology. Had I not been introduced to a tape or a radio, I would have never heard some of the things that inspired me to be able to write music the way I do. And I could have been a accountant or a garbage man with very little thought to actually making music,
Oh
as
yeah.
opposed to seeing Michael Jackson on a TV at 3 years old and saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that."
Technology is a blessing. It is. I do believe it is. You know, we've really kind of perfected and capitalized, not just capitalized, but as progress capitalized with music and art and all this fun stuff. And I love it. I love going back to nature and really being primitive for a while at a time, going on state land. But it's nice to have that balance in your life. You know, I'm
Exactly.
glad it's been there.
Exactly.
I agree completely. So I get that the fact of off grid and on grid do have some kind of balance because it's supposed to be this way. We need that to be able to further ourselves. We have to be able to know what's to come to be able to further ourselves in life. It's
Exactly.
evolution. Is evolution bad?
Is it bad?
That's what they're saying, right?
Where's that in the comments?
No, I'm asking you. So
Oh, I think
is
it's.
evolution bad or is evolution needed?
I don't think you can put a bad or good on evolution. We look at things as it just happens. I mean, is it bad if things evolve? They're
That's what
still
I'm saying.
evolving.
Right? Or are we
No,
supposed to go back to the caveman ways and
no.
supposed to be dragging our women with hair and da 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 da?
Okay, we still like everything. I think everything is just how it used to be, just with more shit. We still drag women around by their hair. It's just not in the literal sense. We do put claims on the woman we want. We make sure that we know that no other man is supposed to touch her. And there are levels to this shit. There are some men that say, "Hey, I'm with her and I trust her, so she's her own person. She's free to be around people." And then some other guys like, "Yeah, I know what hanging out with your loose ass friends gonna do, so you ain't going out." And we could debate who's wrong or right. I could automatically assume that a controlling man is fucked up, but at the same time, one, I'm not married. Two, I don't even want to be in a relationship like that. Three, if I was to be in a relationship, there would be certain things that I would expect, just like there are certain things that she would expect from me. So, with that being said, I really it go right back to what TJ was saying, because if a girl know how to do an oil change and drop a transmission, and a guy is an excellent homemaker, who in the fuck is supposed to determine that they should reverse roles? They're not doing what they were meant to do. They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. That don't make no sense.
Excuse me.
No, I agree completely. It's weaknesses and strengths. It's your preference. It's
It's
what you
preference, but it's
prefer.
preference really, because it go back into that whole thing what the gender war shit. It's like, if a dude want to marry a girl with 8 baby daddies, that that's his fucking business. And whatever statistics you could come up with saying that's not gonna work or he gonna be in a world of shit, that's all you. You're not him, and you don't have to deal with that shit.
I mean, I don't even know if it's preference as much as it's the nature versus nurture conversation. I'll use me as an example. And I
That's true.
with people all the time. So like from first grade to midway through my ninth grade year, we stayed in the projects. Those were apartments. We moved from the projects to another set of apartments where I stayed there from my 10th grade year until I moved off and went to college. While in college, I stayed in the College Park apartments. I didn't stay in the dorm. After I left college, I got my own first apartment and stayed in my apartment, and I stayed there. I didn't live in a house until I was 30 years old. Projects, apartments, so on and so forth. Bought my first house when I was 30 and didn't know how to cut grass. I never lived in a house before, so I never had to cut grass before. So now, here I am, a 30-year-old man expected to know how to cut grass. How? When have I ever been in a situation where I needed to? So that's not a gender role type thing. More of it was just my specific situation. So now I'm in a conversation with my girl. She's like, "You don't know how to cut grass?" And I'm like, "No." You man, you know how to cut grass. When was I supposed to learn? Like, so a lot of these situations that we find ourselves in are just based on our upbringing and based on the situation we were put in. If that specific one in the situation that Jovan was talking about, hypothetically, was the first person in their family to have a car and didn't have a father figure in her house, so she had to learn how to change her own oil, that's not being masculine, that's necessity. That was the situation that she was raised in. So it's not always preference, it's just a lot of times the rules that we are expected to play by. I'm expected that by 30 years old, I should know how to cut grass. However, I haven't. She's expected to have a father in the home who would be doing the oil changes, but she didn't have that.
Well, necessity is the mother of invention. If you have a brain and you can make anything a concept, you can make anything a reality, I guess. I mean, we can relegate everything down to math, but if you can think it, you can pretty much do it.
Facts.
So this is James Tank. He has a show called what's your show called?
Tank and Stiletto show.
The Back Door or something?
Behind closed doors.
Behind closed doors.
Hello, Tank.
Hey, how are you doing?
What's going on?
And we're talking about off grid and what's the difference between what's the pros and cons of being off grid versus technology?
And it's all over the place.
And
we're back.
And we're talking, and it all stemmed back to the same thing, though. It all came back to the topic, and we were talking that it's not about just being off grid or technology. It's the fact of evolution. What were you put yourself in the position of being able to have? Like he said, he didn't have to cut grass ever, so he didn't know how to do it. It's not that he's any less of a man because he didn't ever cut grass. He just never learned how to because he didn't have to. Just like the girl that drove doesn't make her any less a woman because she had to change her own oil. She was just the only one in the house that was able to drive that, but she had to learn to do it herself. Mm-hmm. So it all stems back to sometimes we have to adapt to our surroundings. Sometimes it all depends on how we're raised and what we see as norm and whatnot, and we have to adapt. It's our preference though. Do we want to continue passing that on to the next generation, or do we want to be the difference and show them a different side?
Well, definitely you want to be a difference. As myself, all I know is working in the medical field. So when my wife always asks me to do little things around the house, building stuff or fixing things, that's not my thing. My thing is fixing bones and whatnot. So I would rather call somebody than to try to do it myself. Either you want it fixed or you want it messed up.
Right.
So we always want to do things to make things better for the next generation, or for the next generation to understand different things as far as what goes on in society.
So do you want to let people know what your show is about?
My show is a little bit of everything that goes on in society. I come up with these various topics that I do on Facebook and Instagram 5 days a week. And then a show we do once a week. It's been on a hiatus a little bit because we built the new home, and we had to shut things down for a while. And I'm also trying to add another person to our show to bring a little bit more, so I don't have to come up with as much uh, topics. My wife
Absolutely.
doesn't have to come up with as much topics as we do, just to add something different to the mix that people would enjoy and like.
And I can appreciate that because I'm gonna piggyback off that later on. I'm gonna put a pin in what you just said about that part of you guys adding the next person, and I'm gonna talk about that before I end the show. I want you to talk about who do you do the show with and how long you've been with that person and how you guys run as a team.
Okay, well, me and my wife, we've been doing this. I would say probably a good 10 years. It started with myself just doing the Tank show. Then I said I wanted to add my wife to the mix, and her name is Stiletto, and it became the Tank and Stiletto show. So, and from there, like I said, was going to add another person to the mix. From the Tank show, I really got into radio, and I was on core radio in Detroit, and I also was on started my own radio show, and then I got on another show. So I've been consistently doing this, like I said, for about 10 years, and and then we moved around a lot, so that kind of broke up the continuity because I had a big following, and I also my show was airing in London, so us moving around a lot really broke, because in this particular genre, so when they don't see the consistency, then they're not interested.
Hmm.
So,
Consistency
and
is, I'm not trying to cut you off, but you touched on a very important thing. Consistency is it. There are a lot of people that could be compared to be the greatest basketball player of all time, but the most consistent is 23.
exactly.
Even in spite, even if you are greater than him after him, the whole reason you are greater than him is because of him.
Most definitely.
So,
It,
how long
it,
were you and your wife married?
December will be 20 years.
And you guys do this show together, and you guys balance each other. I watched one of your shows, and you guys actually flow as if you're like the same brain. It is probably just because you guys know each other so well, but you guys say the same things at the same times and just flow as one.
Yeah, it's one is, being together a long while, so we kind of know each other. And I started off into it first, and then got my wife into it because she was kind of shy of it and quiet. And once I put a little me in her, then she just went off, and
That's
she understood
crazy
it.
that she'd be shy because honestly, when I watch the show, she's like the little chihuahua on there. You do not think that she's shy at all because her voice is very prevalent and she stands on what she says.
and I got a little bit of a messed up mind, so I like how you said, "Well, I put a little bit of me into her." She went off. I like,
But and understand, she puts a little bit of herself in me as
for
well,
sure, for
because
sure.
I'm usually the real aggressive type, and she put a little bit of me in her, and I kind of dial it back a little bit. Because my two alter ego, because I'm Tank, and then but also I'm James.
Yeah, because the one I watched, there was a good balance. I watched actually two of them, and the one that when I watched them, there was a good balance between both of them because I wanted to watch another one to make sure it's about the same. And you guys ran really well together. I only had one issue, and that was the studio sounding echoey and whatnot, the clarity. But you guys are going to fix that once you guys get it better set up and whatnot. It
Exactly.
has a lot to do with traveling and whatnot.
It does. It does.
It
Now
does
that we
completely.
now that we've gotten settled, we got our house done, and um, come next year when I add the next team
Yeah.
member, and I start kind of putting out there of who I can add to the team
Hmm.
to make this flow better. Um, then we'll be off and running. But I'm also in. I'm spread. I'm spread all over. I do quite a variety of things
Yeah,
besides doing this show. So
And
which is good.
that's
Go
I'm
ahead.
just glad that you maintaining your dream and that you're not losing focus on what's important with that, because although we do have to live a life that sustains and supports us beyond what we are trying to attain, never lose sight of the end game. You got a good it sound I don't know. I've just been introduced to you and to your show just now, so I will check it out, but it's from how it sounds, you and your wife are a dynamic team. Keep it going. That on many levels, and I'm pretty sure y'all know why in between each other of why that is important to keep that connection strong and be each other's backbone and support system. It's not enough of that in this world. I'm not even a firm believer of it anymore, but to see that people are actually doing the work and being the compassionate person that everybody has in them to be, to see it in real time is a wonderful thing, and I commend you for that.
well, thank you so much. Um, the biggest thing is that we love people, we love ourselves, and we're I'll say a dynamic couple. Um, we build on each other. We build our brand. We have various businesses, um, and my thing is to do is I want to build something that's great, and I want to build something that I can help others and build others. To I don't want to just keep it bottled up to myself.
Hmm.
However I make it, I want to put it to where other people can make it as well.
For sure, bro.
And I like the fact that you guys are together because she's this little petite thing and you're this big, massive, tall thing compared to her. And you bring out such power in her that she actually powers and you stands equally to you in height when she speaks.
Oh, most definitely.
And I like that because most small petite people, they have to fight to become big because they've been bullied so much and they have to stand up for who they are. She does it with poise, and I'm not trying to boast her up, but she does it with poise that it almost
Yeah.
comes naturally. That her name is Stiletto. It's so ironically funny that that's her name because like she stands as if she's wearing those shoes because she's only probably four something.
Yeah, she's about she's about 5'1", 5'2".
She's just a little thing with such
It's
a
a
big
switchblade too.
personality.
I'm
Yeah,
just saying.
and her job. She's in the casino. She's the pit boss, so she's one of the big people there. But she's the little person
And it makes
in
so
the
much
industry.
sense.
And that's funny that, like, it doesn't matter who gives direction. It doesn't matter how tall they are. It doesn't matter
I'll
if
be
they're
there.
feminine versus masculine. Authority is authority. So when it comes from a shorter person or a younger person, a more timid person, it almost seems off kilter to a certain extent. But to be real with you, it's it almost creates an atmosphere where somebody that is looked at or treated as the underdog has to overplay it, or it seems to the other people around that they're overplaying it because of
Hmm.
their size, because of their demeanor, when really it is like, no, it's not on me, it's in me.
And that's how she flows. Hers is natural. Hers is just conviction. She stands on conviction. She's not doing it because she feels like she has to. That's just her nature. And
Right.
so when you just say that she was shy, it would baffled me that she's grown so much and evolved so much from that shy person that I didn't see her ever to be shy.
Yes. Yep. She was
Well,
shy.
it take for it And this is the dynamic. Like, he had to empower her,
Mm-hmm.
and at the same time be aware of the things that could open her up, which was taming a little bit of what stands out about himself. He allowed her to progress, and it kind of evened them out. It
Balanced. Yeah.
take nothing away from him, because he's gonna, like TJ said earlier, you're solid everywhere you go. So it don't matter if you're the loudest person in the room or the quietest person in the
Mhm.
room. You're in the room, and you know that, and that's all that matters.
And
So he
what's
was able to do the best thing for his wife, which in turn was the best thing for both of them, and that's how it worked.
what's that girl's name on the Howard Stern show?
Robin,
Robin. That's
Yeah,
what your
yeah.
wife is like. She's like the Robin of the show.
and then and like
Yes.
Robin,
Robin's
Robin's dope
wild.
because she don't never she don't tame or calm Howard Stern. She don't agree with his foolishness all the time, but she knows who she's dealing with, and she manages in that sphere, and she never loses who she is as a person.
It's a good
Definitely.
show. They definitely need to be tuned in. Once they start running again, everybody needs to tune into it. It's a good show. It's funny. It's relevant. It's about what's happening now in society. They talk about topics that are irrelevant. Um,
It's good to have very insightful things. So,
mhm.
like, keep man, get back to it, stable yourself out. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know how it is to want to do take over the world, and all you got is a toothpick. But yeah, build up your fort, get that shit solidified, and get
Mhm.
back out here and start attacking, man.
Yeah. Well, I still post topics.
Yes.
I post 5 topics 5 days a week. It used to be 10 topics 5 days a week, but I killed it down a little bit. So I
Where
only do
can I find
5 topics.
you at on Instagram? How what to look you up?
You can
On
look up
Facebook.
Tank. You can look up James Tank Scott on
Okay.
Facebook,
Yeah.
and I
James.
should pop right up.
I'm doing that right now, so
Yeah.
So, and then I want to talk on something because I want to talk about TJ whenever he comes back on. And I want to talk about let him tell who he is, but I want to talk about this real quick before we lose sight on this part. Adding someone to the mix. The reason why Unseen Twisted Truth used to be about the unseen twisted truth of the society, things that nobody wants to really talk about, things that are not Hollywood, not trending, but yet are important and that matter. About Joe's echoing. About building and love and just things that are in the norm and things that are important too. We have to put light on. We'll talk about the unseen twist of the truth that they don't want us to talk about. And I stopped doing that because it was hard for me as one individual to think of every topic all the time. I got to the point where I didn't know what to talk about. I didn't have a team or a base or a group of people to run ideas off, and it was constantly me thinking of things. After a while, I tend to stop thinking of things because I don't watch TV. I don't listen to the music. I don't eat meat. I don't do all this stuff to be out there to see things. So I don't know really what to talk about. Eventually, it will be about just me. It's echoing again. So anyways, so I have to mute. No, I see. Joe, you have to there we go. Because I also do audio, so it's getting feedback onto the audio part, and no one's going to listen to a podcast where there's feedback. But anyway, so I switched and started interviewing people and having if you support you, I'm going to support you. People come on and we do interviews. And then we would talk about different people. So I'd have other things to talk about instead of just this idea what I came up with. I would name the title and that would be our subject, but we would interview people. So it was giving me something else to do. Then it got to the point where I was only interviewing artists. I don't know how that happened. It just got to that point because I go find people that are supporting themselves that pay for a sponsorship. And if you pay for a sponsorship, I'm gonna go in your inbox or in your little comment section and be like, hey, would you like to be on our show? Because I support people that support themselves. So I started doing it that. Well, then it got to the point where we were looked at as a music podcast. When how do I not listen to music, but yet I have a music podcast? When this ain't a music podcast, I support people. So now at the first of the year, we're going to go back to Unseen Twisted Truth, and we're going to add different things into the mix, and we're going to have different shows where it can be about the music, but yet I am still going to support people, and we're still going to talk about Unseen Twisted Truths, because now I don't want to do it alone. I don't want to think of the topics alone. It's hard. And I get why he said, that they had to quit and add somebody else to the mix, because after a while, when you're the only one thinking of topics for a show and you want to reach a big audience, eventually it's going to be all about you and your opinion. And that's not what nobody's stemming for.
Well, and this is why I got active. I don't know.
It's actually going.
I don't know what's going on with the microphone. But basically, that's why I got more active, is because I understood the necessity for consistency, the necessity for keeping what the show was about alive and well as allowing it to be able to branch off into the other things that you wanted to do. But I understood that I couldn't bark what I wanted to see out of it, knowing that I live by the be the change you want to see and get lit example. So with that being said, it just I jumped in and started linking with you and Henry on content and the future of the show, and just making the back end stronger, so that like what's presented on the front and what's put out for the people is is just what you is your vision, is what you want people to see.
Truth's untwisting.
Can't hear.
That too, because pods like the one tonight, episodes like the one tonight, and is usually because Henry does not exaggerate to me when he's like, "This is the best pod," because like you're bringing truths forward. TJ said it earlier. By being on this pod, it allows different minds, different opinions, different thoughts to be said out loud, so that we can all reach a universal truth.
Audio.
Huh?
Agreed, Joe. It's been good. Tonight went well.
We're not gonna
Oh, we got two in the chat. No, it's Joe. Oh, okay.
Joe, stop echoing.